need right now. Is that what you need? That's what the world needs. Because we are the world. Last week I began to share some of what I call my 50-year miracle. And that's from the time I was 16 years old, and I started to have mystical experiences, what some call miracles. But we know from A Course in Miracles that everything that comes from love is a miracle. Amen. So that's why we're going to today take a look at how do we follow the love. Following the miracles in our lives, following the love is what's going to lead us in the right direction. If we follow our judgments and our fear and our anger and our disappointments, where do we end up? In more anger and fear and disappointment. That's not really the path I want to go on. I want to follow the love. So many of us, we're looking for something in our lives. We're looking for a little guidance. I found a lot of guidance in my life from A Course in Miracles. And I don't think I have enough time to explain how I got there to the Course coming into my life. But I'm going to lead up to it. We're looking for guidance. We're looking for direction. Direction for our future. A roadmap for happiness. And so, there seems to be a never-ending stream of people willing to give us advice on that. A plethora of so-called spiritual teachers are out there. And they're all offering you a formula, right, for happiness and enlightenment. But the one thing we tend to forget, is to listen to our own heart. So we're running around looking for the answer out there, and we forget that it's really right here within our heart, within our own experience. And I think it's so important. Perhaps the only thing that we really need to follow is the most basic thing in life. That which sings to our soul. That which fills us with love. I've never gone wrong when I follow the love. I've never, ever had a bad experience. I've never seen whatever was happening in my life as anything but either an ecstatic experience of love and bliss or a moment of healing and growth. It came up for growth. It came up for healing. And I know sometimes it seems devastating, but it's there for our own healing. It's there to find more love. It's there to find that place where there is only love. We teach here at Unity on Cape Cod that God is love and only love. Because what's happened in the human experience is we've created this being, doesn't actually exist, sorry to tell you, that's both loving and condemning. And we forget that there's an energy in the universe that's only love. It's called divine intelligence, universal mind. It governs all things, and that's what God is. It's not an individual being making decisions and judgments like we do. But it can guide our decisions and judgments. Isn't that wonderful? God, the infinite intelligence of the universe, universal mind, can be what is guiding our decisions, our judgments, our thoughts, and our actions. And it's so important that we look at what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing, because that's our world. So I was telling you last week, I started out telling you a little bit of my story, how I went from one miracle to another in my life, and it still continues like that, to bring me to where I am today and who I have become. And I'm well aware I'm not done yet. I am not done yet. Our friend Stowe Good, the musicians are coming. They wrote a song, Ain't Done Yet, right? I'm a work in progress, but I'm a masterpiece at the same time. I mentioned that also last week. So if I want to progress with grace and ease and not with struggle, then I'm going to have to focus on the love. I'm going to have to focus on the miracles and follow them. They're like breadcrumbs that the universe is leaving you. And you just, if you follow that, you end up in this wonderful experience of the real world. The bottom line is I have to act from love. I have to teach only love. I can't expect something outside of me to do it for me. I can't expect those that I'm judging as separate and hateful and to start acting from love all of a sudden. I have to be the teacher. I love it, and I do a lot of A Course in Miracles, and it teaches me that everything I think or say or do is teaching all the universe. And so that's very important to remember. You're the one teaching the universe what it is. Wow. Isn't that an amazing idea? So the reason that I want to teach only love is I'm getting the results of my own mind. That's my world. That's what I'm experiencing. If I want to experience love, I'm going to have to teach love. The third principle of unity reminds us that we're creating our own experiences, right? From what? The activity of our mind. The activity of what we believe, what we think, what we feel. We're creating our own experience. And remember Nancy Canning used to be here for many years? She says, you're making it all up anyway, so you might as well make it up great. I always remembered that. I heard that from her. She was standing right here. It was about 8 or 9 years ago. And I said, absolutely. Let's make it up great. You know, this is a universal principle. Every spiritual or religious path in the world teaches a form of this. The Buddha said it this way. We are shaped by our thoughts, right? We become what we think. So when the mind is pure, joy follows us like a shadow that never leaves. The bottom line is you're creating your own reality. Nothing's happening to you, but everything's happening through you. And you hear me say this a lot, but it's really important that we go back to the point here that the Buddha makes is when the mind is pure or uncluttered with judgments, with thoughts of separation, with fear. When the mind is uncluttered, he used the word pure, but I like to think of it as peaceful, neutral. Then joy is going to follow us. It's going to always be there. It says like a shadow that never leaves, which means you're surrounded in an energy field. Do you ever feel that when somebody walks in the room and the room lights up and you immediately get happy? It happens when Kathy walks in the room for me. Kathy Smith Brown. It's like the joy has come. The happiness has entered the room. Karina's the same way. Bam! Here comes happiness. Here comes the joy. Bring on the joy. Right? I love that. I love that. Don't you feel that with certain people? They just have this aura or the shadow of joy when they walk into the room. So the bottom line is you're creating that. It's by your decision that you're deciding to live in the reality of love and joy. If we want to live in that joy, we have to practice the principles that lead to it. We have to follow the love. I don't know if you guys know this guy, Krishnamurti. I think these guys do. It is love alone that leads to right action. Love alone. What brings order in the world is to love and let love do what it will. Amen. That's what's going to bring order to the world. That's what's going to bring healing to the world. We can't just say, I don't matter. I don't know what's going to happen. It's just going to be what it's going to be. There's always been war. There will always be wars. There's violence is part of it. Blah, 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 blah. No! Since I was a small child, I said, why is it that way? I was asking the question, do I have to be that way? Do I have to go to war? It was a Vietnam War was going on. I was asking my parents, am I going to have to do that? Do I have to experience the violence and the hatred in order to be loving and kind? What is this? It's the world of separation and of opposites, and it's a mindset that we have gotten into, but it's not true. That's what led me on the spiritual path. I was talking about this last week, is I had a mystical experience that we are all one and that there is love in the universe and that that's what makes everything and that's what everything is. Why aren't we doing that? And I decided very young that I was going to do that. That was my path in life. And I didn't care if anybody else was doing it. The wonderful thing is, as I got older and started having more experiences of love and of our mystical oneness, that there was a lot of people doing it, a lot of people experiencing it. There were a lot of people meditating and praying and getting together and feeling the love that we have for one another and experiencing it and teaching it in the world. Oh, that really was an enlightening experience for me. So I talked about having a mystical experience with my mom in the Catholic Charismatic Renewal, which Dolores came to me after, said she was part of. Bruce came to me and said, yeah, being slain in the Spirit. I know what that's all about. And so we've all had these kind of experiences no matter what religious or spiritual path you've been on. But what happened to me is when I got up off the floor after having had that experience, the addiction that I had been suffering with was gone. It had disappeared. I had no more desire to have a drink, to have a drug, to smoke marijuana, to smoke cigarettes. I couldn't even eat meat anymore. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. We went, no, I'm not kidding. We went, I don't know, they took me to McDonald's or something, and I got violently ill. And that was it. I didn't eat meat. I've been a vegetarian for 45 years or more. I couldn't do it. And it was just a natural thing. My friends would pass me the joint, and I didn't know what it was anymore. Like, you're supposed to smoke this? I don't know. I don't want it. You take. And I was, believe me, that was one of the best things in life, was being able to smoke a joint. Drink a case of beer with your buddy. Not a beer, a case of beer. And all of a sudden, I couldn't do it. I couldn't drink one drop. Not one drop. And later on in life, I did find the 12 steps. I mentioned that as a miracle too. That my mom entered into Al-Anon, and that brought the 12 steps into my life. And she brought the daily word into the house and things like that I never saw before. They were sitting right there on the coffee table, but my eyes weren't open to them. I couldn't read this and go, inner peace. That's something I want. No, I had no clue what inner peace was. So it wasn't something I wanted. I wanted to go party with my friends. And that's what I did, until I had an experience of inner peace that transcended this world. Then that's what I want. Now this is something. This is real. All the other stuff is temporary. And I don't care if you're addicted to power, money, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Sorry, Jack. It's all temporary. The one thing that is real is that inner peace, is that oneness that we feel, is that it's a real, true experience. And that's what led me to follow the love, follow the miracles, each and every moment. After I was healed from addiction, I ended up moving back to Amherst, Massachusetts, where I was part of this church. I found this really cool little church called Hope Community Church. And there I was praying for healing ministry because I just knew that whatever happened to me could happen for others if we just sit together and pray. And so that's what we did. Actually, my prayer was answered in 2 days. The minister came to me and he says, "Would you like to do this thing on Tuesday night?" So I had a healing circle on Tuesday nights for several years. And the wonderful thing about it is I never knew what was going to happen. I was always just going, "Please, help this person." And so we'd pray and sing songs, just like we do here. And people would experience healings, dramatic healings, just like happen here. Thank you. The first time somebody stood up in the church and said, "I just want to testify, I want to give a testimony that I went back to my doctor and he says that the cancer is in remission." And this person was certain that they were going to die, that they were going to have their transition, because the doctors had told them that. The doctor said, "You have 6 months at the most. Get your affairs in order." And after that meeting that we had, the person went back to the doctor and had more tests taken, and they said, "Well, we were wrong. It seems to be in remission now." So what happened there? What happened was we came into the place where healing is real. The infinite intelligence of the universe, universal mind. Same thing happened with Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you for coming to me. He came to me for pastoral counseling. I thought, "Oh, yeah, we're going to have fun." And he says, "Well, I've been diagnosed with cancer. Like, I got stage 4 lung cancer, and there's also this thing on my heart." There's all kinds of complicated things I don't know anything about. But I do know about prayer. And I do know about the energy of the infinite intelligence of the universe moving through me and moving through you. And as we got in touch with that together, Jerry started his healing journey. Yes, the medical community was part of it as well. Wasn't quite as dramatic as that first healing, but to me, you sitting here today is a very dramatic occurrence. Yeah. And Patricia McPartland, thank you for your healing. Yes. Somebody knows about that because they were there praying on that Thursday night. And there are countless other healings, some that we don't even notice or we may not get a testimony about. But it all comes from love. What I'm here to express today is that all we need to do is love one another. Love one another as if our life depended on it. Love ourselves and love your neighbor as yourself. That's the only commandments that my way shower, Yeshua, ever, Jesus, you call him, ever gave me was first, love the totality, God, with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, all your strength. And by loving it, I mean identifying with it. That's me. That's what I am. I am that universal mind. And then go off and love your neighbor as yourself. First, you identify with love, and then identify your neighbor as love. That's what they are too. That's the one thing no one can take away from you. Right? Don't let the world tell you who you are. You tell yourself. Remind yourself. It's one of the problems that we tend to have is that we want to control and manipulate the way love shows up, the way the world shows up, the way God shows up for us. We want to tell the universe how to do it. It's impossible to receive the blessings of the universe when you're focused on what you think you want. You can't hear God's voice within because you're too busy talking. You're creating an illusion of a world within your limited perception, within your limited thinking, and therefore you cannot see the real world of love and peace and joy, never-ending joy. You can't see it because your mind is so cluttered. So it seems we have to go through a lot of drama, some of us, to get there, to the awareness of the real world. But that's only because the illusion's the only thing we think, it's the only thing we know until we have that experience. The daily word was sitting on the coffee table, but it might as well have been written in Chinese because I couldn't read it, I couldn't see it. That was the only thing I knew. The world of illusion, the world of separation is all you know until you have that first experience of oneness, that very unmistakable experience that God is. That's what we are, that love is. That's what we are. That oneness is, that's what we are. That's what I am. So I'm here to tell you also that the adventure of that discovery will never end. It's the greatest adventure of your life. I always tell Lily, the adventure continues. No matter what it looks like, the adventure continues. And I love to say that because whatever unfolds in life is part of that work in progress. It's part of that masterpiece. I'm observing the universe. It's adding more color, more texture, more depth to my life, my experience. Learning, it doesn't go in a straight line, right? You've heard this before. It goes in a spiral. You're learning in life, your discovery of who and what you are. And you come around and you learn the same truth, but at a deeper level, more expanded awareness. Never think you got it. I got it now. I'm going to go out and teach everyone how to get to God, get to heaven. Oh, she doesn't like that. No. That's why we're all here, because we were part of paths that attempted to do that. This is the way to do it. This is the theology. Actually, our theology is an open theology. It's up to you to decide what you believe, what you feel, and what you experience. No single path is right for everyone, not even our own. But you are welcome here. Wherever you find yourself on your spiritual path, you're welcome here. Please make Unity on Cape Cod your spiritual home. So I told the story about being healed from addiction, and then I started to heal. The spirit within me I started to utilize it to heal others. And that continued in my life. But I also created drama along the way because I forgot that that's what I wanted and that's all I wanted. So when I lost focus and began following after some manifestation that I thought was necessary, I would create drama. And then I would come back, have another miracle, and come back to center. And it seemed to go on like that for a while. And then pretty soon, I became drama-free. Right, Dolores? Drama-free. That's what Dolores always says. I love it here because it's drama-free. That's the life that she was looking for. She didn't even know it was possible until she got here. I didn't know it was possible until I experienced it. And I said, okay, this is possible for this short amount of time. Why can't it be possible for a longer amount of time? Why can't it be possible all the time? Yeah, things come up, but I don't have to make it into a big drama. It's part of the learning. It's part of the adventure. The adventure continues. I'm going to take it. I'm going to receive what love is teaching me now. So I knew spiritual healing was possible because it happened to me. And what a surprise to know that I also could be a conduit for miracles and healing others. And this has continued all of my life. Once I got into the flow of my own purpose for being here, that's all I experienced. And it's all I experience today. No matter what it looks like, I know it's a miracle. And I'm going to follow the love. Because the one thing I know is that the human race right now needs a miracle. And it's your love that's creating that miracle. So thank you for your love.